Hey, grade 10. So today we'll talk about chapter 9, mensuration, length, perimeter, area, circles, and sectors. So we've talked about perimeter and area since maybe the 4th grade, and today we'll just review some of those, and we'll introduce you to circles and sectors at the end there. So before we begin, I want to point out that there's a formula list for papers 2 and 4. But there's no formula list for paper 6. So that means you guys still need to memorize all of these formulas. For now, at least, you should know all of these. And we'll talk about trigonometry later. But for now, you should be able to recall all of these formulas, or at least derive them. What I mean by that, if you can come up with the volume of a cone, and you remember that the base of the cone is a circle, and then you come up with, okay, that is 1/3 of a cylinder, so stuff like that. So just at least know all of these. Alright, so let's jump in, shall we? I'm not going to go over these on the video, but you guys can read it and make sure that you know all of these formulas. Alright, so let's put that into practice. Go ahead and calculate the areas of all of these shapes here. So for triangles, sometimes people they forget that the area of any triangle is base times height divided by 2. So any triangle, as long as you know the base, in this case 12, and the height, in this case 5. 5 times 12 is 60, divided by 2, that's 30. So yeah. And then for the parallelogram, you need to multiply the base times the height. And the height is the distance between the bases here. Not this. This is not the height. Okay, so 10 times 5 is 50. And then last but not least, the trapezoid there. You take the average of the bases, 11 plus 16 divided by 2. And then you multiply by the height. So that is 54 meters squared. Alright, and then sometimes we get these shapes here, but no worries, because they're just hybrids of two different shapes, or they probably put a hole inside of the rectangle like B there. So like example 2A there, there are different ways that you can do this, but for this video I'll do a square and a trapezoid. So I calculated the area of the square. And then the tricky part was finding the area of the trapezoid, because we had to figure out the base, and then we needed to figure out the height as well. So I just subtracted 10 by 4 to get 6, and we know that the other base is 4, so we get 55 centimeters squared. So again, they might add different shapes to it, or they might take out a shape out of your bigger shape. So for B here, we have a bigger rectangle, and then we subtract it by the small rectangle there, and then we get 64 meters squared.